wirelessly, to print in the library, to paper print throughout the term. This will be live. It's actually being set up right now. And by no later than January 20th, students will be able to print in the LRC with our new GoPrint system, which is very streamlined. They can go online. They can approach that in a variety of ways. And we're very excited about students being able to print wirelessly from their wireless devices through the GoPrint internet portal. We also have a voicemail message system. Oh, and I'd like to particularly thank Deborah, Steve Dodson, Chris Edmondson for that as well. Voicemail message system. By the end of February, we will have a new voicemail system on campus, which will include speech recognition, multiple approval queues, other things that some of you in the audience are probably very excited about, particularly I would guess those in admissions and records. And thanks again to Chris Edmondson and Jeff for that. And computers. Okay. All right. So as I think you probably know, we will be getting new computers throughout the campus. All faculty and staff will have new computers. Most folks PCs and a few Macs that we're replacing. We will also be having new computers in all of the smart classrooms, and we'll be upgrading all lab computers to at least 2010 models or newer. HP has delivered our PCs to a contractor who is imaging those, so that's happening right now, just on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. Who works in Fusselman? A few of you made it out today? Excellent. Guess what? You're our guinea pigs. So starting next week, we're going to start rolling out the computer deployment, and we're going to start with Fusselman because you're small, you're contained, and we figure that if we can get through your complaints, we can get through the rest of this. With the full rollout will follow, and so we're going to have a lot of communication. Steve Dodson, Chris Dunkel, David Gardner, Brian Chi, and a few others are going to really be taking the lead to manage this process through, and we're very excited. Who knows what your U drive is? Excellent. How many of you actually have all of your stuff on your U drive as opposed to on your desktop? Not quite as many of you. Okay. So what I'm supposed to let you know is you need to start migrating that stuff over, because that's going to be the key to making sure that there are no problems when we give you your new computer. And I'd also like to thank particularly everyone in IT for their hard work. These are all major undertakings with lots and lots of details, and this is all on top of their daily work. So let's give a hand to everyone in IT. Within the next couple of months, we'll have all the new computers out. And I particularly want to thank Jackie Beretta, who's been on loan to us from Virtual Information Executives for her leadership through this as well. I would also like to say that next week, everyone will be receiving an email from me letting you know when open forums will be for our 4 finalists for the Chief Information Officer and Director of IT position. So we'll be bringing those folks to campus later this month. And thank you to those on the search committee for their hard work up to this point. Now, student success update. I'm not going to go into detail on all the elements of the Student Success Act. You've heard me. We had a whole convocation program last time about that. I do want to bring up just a few updates on a couple of key pieces. First of all, who's familiar with this quote? Anyone know what that's from? Call it out. Cool hand lube. That's right. What we have here is failure to communicate. We have had issues with the way we communicate with students on how do I get admitted, how do I get enrolled, how do I get my aid, how do I stay enrolled, how do I deal with petitions, how do I resolve issues that I might have with the enrollment process. And I'm happy to report that we now have instant admission in process, and that means that if anyone were to right now go online and apply to College of Marin, within 5 minutes, you would receive an email saying you're admitted. And you would also then be able to immediately go in and start registering for classes. This is a huge change because that used to be a 7-day process. That would involve lots of work on the part of me and our staff, and so automating that is huge. Speaking of automating things, we also have an automated waitlist. We have over 400 students who, without having to lift a finger or deal with the 72-hour window or have to go to A&R to have someone move them from a waitlist to a class, over 400 students have automatically moved from a waitlist interactive online form, and there are students who, when they file a petition for one reason or another, within 30 minutes have an answer to their status. And they can also follow that entire process and where it is in the queue online in the portal. So I really want to thank Dong and Burton and Deborah and Aaron, certainly Sandra Tachihara, Sienna Villarreal, Debbie Weavers, Kelly Gatlin, and Diane Traversy for their hard work in making all of these things come about. This is a huge part of our ability to help students be successful, is actually getting them through the processes necessary to have them focus on what's really important, which is the learning in the classroom. So thank you, and there are many more of those types of improvements coming soon. Who knows what this is from? Help me, help you. Jerry Maguire. That's right, amongst other things. Before Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career went from Academy Award winner to Snow Dogs 2. Help me, help you. This really relates to alert and intervention. We have largely helped students who have been in trouble by telling them that they're on probation and that they need to do something about that. And that is way too late. And so we have a pilot project we're rolling out this spring. I'd like to give particular thanks to Matt Markovich, to Derek Levy, to Rhonda Jones, and others, because we are engaging in an online format whereby faculty and others can alert us with a click of a button as to concerns they might have about student performance, student issues. We have a triage system we'll be putting into place. And the key to this is not that we are going to solve problems for students, but rather we are going to help students develop a plan whereby they take action to improve their circumstance, whatever that might be. And we're very excited about this, and we feel that this will have a huge impact on students' ability to be successful in the classroom and get through to their educational goals. Anyone know what this is from? Anti-MAME. You said that. That's good. Great. Excellent. Yeah, I thought I might stump you with that one. Going back to the 50s for that. This has to do with orientation. And we are also about to roll out, and you'll be able to take a look at it here in the coming weeks, online orientation modules, whereby instead of having students sit in an auditorium like this, with a PowerPoint like this, for a prolonged period of time, having all the information go in and out, like it is right now, we'll be able to have online modules where we'll be able to ask students what they know ahead of time. We'll put them through the very brief module with video content, with interactive content, links to other things, and then at the end do a test to see whether or not they've received the appropriate information. This is huge because it also allows us to track whether or not they've completed enough orientation to get their enrollment priority, which not only helps them be prepared going into their courses, it also relates back to the funding we get from the state for the Student Success Act. And I'd really like to thank Anna Pillaton, Gina Cohen, and others for their hard work on that. And finally, it's Groucho Marx. Which movie? Duck Soup? No, not Duck Soup. Animal Crackers. Captain Spaulding. Go back to the 1930s for this one. So this spring we're going to find out how the elephant got in his pajamas. And what I really mean by this is we're going to actually engage in gathering some very important information that's going to answer a lot of questions. And this involves the Community College Survey of Student Engagement. There are over 700 institutions like ours across the nation that participate, and we will be surveying students on a range of things. How actively engaged they are in their studies, how much interaction they have with faculty, how supportive the campus environment is. And this information will be hugely helpful as we hone in on those things we can do to help the student experience be what it needs to be. So I will be asking particularly some of the faculty for your support in allowing us to survey your students. We also concurrently will be in an online format participating in the Community College Survey of Faculty Engagement, which asks faculty their perceptions on student engagement so that we can match that up and see where we might have some disconnects. And then that allows us to better own those orientation modules, the interventions we do, and other things. These are just a few of the updates. I won't bore you with others. I was going to talk a little bit about some enrollment efforts and use the quote, "You're going to need a bigger boat," which hopefully will be the case as we move through all these efforts, but we'll save that one for next time. So those are the updates I have, and with that, thank you very much.
it's hard for me to hide behind anything. So, and I gotta see the screen. So let me give you some updates for budget and operations real quick to kind of get you informed about some of the things we've been working on. So I want to talk about how we get our money. Property taxes. Especially you local folks who live in Marin County, we applaud you, we appreciate you paying your taxes on time. But we get most of our money comes from property taxes, unsecured and secured property taxes. Who knows what unsecured property taxes are? You must all own boats and RVs and all those other taxes that we get charged those things. So property taxes makes up most of our budget for the year. The county projected a 4% growth factor for this year. We budgeted 3.02% of that. The county usually gives us about 99% of their projection. They don't give us the 1% because it's a fudge factor. For legal issues and so forth, people can test their taxes on a regular basis. So we're right on projection for this year so far. And this is directly tied to the unrestricted budget. Now, the taxes obviously doesn't tie to our categorical funds or bond dollars and so forth. So right now we're about $41 million is what we get. Who knows what our allocation is from the county? How do they calculate our allocation from the county? Who knows how much we get? Is it a dollar per million?
Percentage.
Who wants to take a guess? Several people in fiscal services who already know. We get 0.7 of 1 cent for every dollar. So the county has a $57 billion tax evaluation for the county, thanks to the wineries. They help with that out a lot. And so we get 0.7, so 0.3007 of $1 is how we get our taxes. I wish it was 7 cents on a dollar. So I wanted to go through and show you how it looks from a basic aid standpoint. Everybody knows we're basic aid, right? Okay. That didn't sound very convincing. Everybody knows we're basic aid, right? Okay. Yeah. Be thankful for that because we actually receive a whole lot more money than our counterparts that are single college districts in the state. Actually, just so you know, basic aid does not appear anywhere in code except for K-12. We're a non-apportionment district. That's another story for another day. So I wanted to show you the last 3 years and how we actually get our money. I know it might be a little hard to see with the lights, but the bottom is enrollment fees. The big blue bar is our property taxes. And in the last 2 years, as you well know, EPA money or Prop 30 funds makes it that little sliver of red at the top. We get $100 per FTE that we generate in a fiscal year. So FTEs go down, Prop 30 money goes down. Prop 30 money, as you know, is time limited. It expires in a couple of years. Actually, the 16-17 year it expires unless the voters do another proposition and extend it. So what does all that mean? Well, you see that little black line right there? So who are some of our sister colleges that are single college districts? Just name one. Well, single college districts, so like Hartnell, Gavilan, single college districts. So there are comparison colleges. That's who they compare us to as far as like-sized schools. So you take a look at that black line represents where we would be in funding if we were an apportionment college. In other words, if we didn't get all our money from basic aid, and all of a sudden the tax base dropped out of the floor in Marin County, and the state had to come in and bail us out, we would have to drop down to that black line in funding. That shows you how far down we are. Give you an idea what that looks like. This current fiscal year, we received $14.9 million more than what the state would guarantee us if we were an apportionment district. That's all due to taxes. And that's because of basic aid. Simple formula is the state takes enrollment fees, they take your property taxes, you're guaranteed a certain amount of money for your FGS count for the year. If you go over that, you're a basic aid district. There's only 5 in the state. 5 community college districts that are basic aid. 2 of them are new in the last year. San Jose Evergreen, San Mateo, North Orange, us, and Maricosta. They're the only basic aid districts in the state for community colleges. There are a lot of K-12 basic aid districts, but we're the only 5 in community colleges. So, what's the board's budget forecast look like for next year? The governor's budget just came out yesterday. There are some positive news in that budget forecast. But as far as property taxes go, Prop 13, everybody know what Prop 13 is? That's for another day too, but we'll get to it one day. Prop 13 is based on inflationary growth. Right now, inflation is not keeping up with 2% growth factor, so we will more than likely be flat next year. Inflation is only about 0.48 currently for the year. However, we do get unsecured property taxes historically about 1%. So we're looking at about a 1% growth factor, if any at all, next year. And we'll have, like I said, likely have no growth for 14, 15 for revenue. But we're positioned correctly. We're making some strides in some areas that we'll talk about here in just a second that are getting us more efficient without doing anything except keeping up with business as usual. And we're making some good strides in that area as well. So before I move on, since the governor's budget came out, let me find my pocket here. I didn't have time to get my PowerPoint. But I want to mention some things that do affect us in the governor's budget that's going to be supportive. So the governor allocated $100 million for the Student Success Act. So, yay, we need the money. He gave $100 million to restore categorical programs. Yay, we need the money there. $87.5 million for scheduled maintenance for the maintenance department. Now, I appreciate the clap, but we're not getting all that. $87.5 million for instructional equipment. And so, going forward, even though that $87.5 million is spread amongst all the colleges, we'll probably generate about $200,000 out of that for maintenance and equipment, which $200,000 in both those areas goes a long way. And we appreciate the governor doing that. However, the budget won't get approved until June, July timeframe, so we'll have to see what the General Assembly does to that budget act as we go forward. So I want to talk about some quick things that are affecting the budget from an operations standpoint. We instituted a CalCard program. How many of y'all have credit cards I've issued to you? Okay, those are all your buddies. Okay, so the CalCard program. Who can tell me how many credit cards we used to have? How many credit card programs do we have until I implemented the CalCard program? We got over right at a dozen. All with different payment dates, interest rates, timetables. None of them gave us rebates. CalCard program is issued by the state of California. We actually get 2 to 3% back on the stuff that we buy off that program, and it gets tied to your budget. It's actually one program, so fiscal services only has to pay one bill instead of paying all these other bills we've been paying. So we're migrating ourselves off those old programs. We're going to one card program. That'll be a huge savings in time and effort on a lot of people's parts, and it'll be able to give you some quicker purchasing power for some of the programs who need it when you're doing stuff like plays, the art department, M&O, and so forth. We're working on a one-card program for students, so that students can have one card to get refunds for financial aid and refunds for fiscal services. Currently, we write checks. We write thousands and thousands and thousands of checks. Last year, I think Theo told me we were right around 17,000 checks we mailed last year at 40+ cents a piece. So you can imagine what going to a card program will do for us monetarily and efficiently for our students, because they get their money the next day instead of waiting for it to come in mail. We're completing energy audits on all of our facilities. We continue to get rebates from PG&E. Some of the new things we're doing, we're putting pool covers on both pools. There's nothing worse than coming to the IBC in the morning, early in the morning, you see, it looks like a nuclear reactor, big plume of just fog coming up off the top of the pool. And I just see dollar bills. So we're putting in new boilers, and we're also putting in new control systems. So if the pumps on those pools don't run 24/7, they actually have variable speed drives, so we can actually stop them when they're not being used. So good things happening there. Working on a copier and printer rollout. We started that a little bit. We're baby stepping that a little bit. So we get on one copier system with one company instead of having leases owned. We got copiers all over the place. We got leases all over the place. So we're going to one copier program across the entire college. And what's great about it is all the toners will be interchangeable between the two different models we've chosen. So that way all the toner y'all are sitting on, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, we can start getting rid of those. John kind of stole my thunder. We're going to GoPrint, which is great because that's money that the library has been paying for paper and toner for students. Students have to start paying for the GoPrint system. Very much a routine program in many colleges throughout the state and nationally as well. And we're making a lot of strides in other areas, so stay tuned. We've got lots of exciting things happening over the spring semester and for the summer, and we'll have more updates next fall. But thank you for all your continued support. If you haven't noticed, I'm from Southern Marine.
President Greg Nelson. So please give him a round of applause. So this time I'd like to invite Christina Combs, Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations, to come forward. We've got about 5 minutes of updates, and then we're going to take a brief little break to get set up for our guest speaker. Christina.
Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year on behalf of the Human Resources team. I wanted to thank all of you for your support of the Human Resources program. It's really your program, and the significant efforts that you've made to enhance our employee and labor relations efforts over the past year has just been well received, and we're so happy to have your contributions and interest in the programs that are meaningful to you. Your efforts, whether they were direct or indirect, are core to our ongoing goals to support student success and your effort in making our students' experience here a successful one. So I want to say thank you. I also want to take a few minutes to talk about another program made possible by College of Marin employees, both active and retired, and that's the Retirement Support Program. When I arrived at the College of Marin, now some 11 months ago, we were in the midst of implementing the SERP. For those of you who are new to the college, it's the Supplemental Employee Retirement Program. So many employees who were SERPing during that period of time commented to me and to members of the HR staff that it would really be great to be better prepared for retirement, and that if we launched retirement information programs, at least employees who are considering retirement, whether they're close to it or some years away, would have less anxiety about their options to retire. So shortly thereafter, I approached Dr. Kuhn about launching a retirement center. I called it the Virtual Retirement Center because at that time we didn't have a space for a retirement program. And in response to my suggestion and recommendation, Dr. Kuhn said, go for it. He thought the concept was great. So I really want to thank Dr. Kuhn for his support in furthering our retirement programs for the college. And I also want to provide you with a brief update of its successes. In a very short period of time, a small cadre of folks, your retirees, with a facilitator, have made the retirement program possible for all of you. So I'm going to ask Ron Gaze, Paula Foster here, I think Kelly Lex is not here, but she's also been involved, and Edna Smith. They've been so instrumental in a very short period of time in launching the Retirement Center, now called your Retirement Support Program. Let me take just a few minutes to give you some information about what their activities have involved. First of all, they've developed a proposed mission statement for the Retirement Center, and that is the College of Marin Retirement Center is dedicated to developing programs and services that contribute to the well-being and creativity of retired faculty, administrators, and staff that support the College of Marin community. They've developed a partnership with the University of California retirement programs, and they're really looking forward to the resources and sharing of ideas that will benefit our college community from that partnership. They've launched Lunch and Learn retirement programs for employees, particularly those who were SERPing this past December, and who are actually not going to be with us today. And some of the workshop topics that were developed were everything you should know about Social Security and what the Social Security Office doesn't tell you. They are going to be offering that program again, and I encourage all of you to attend it. You'll find out information that's important to you, but also important to your family members or other people you know who are involved or considering Social Security options. They launched a life planning for retirement workshop covering retirement expenses, roadblocks to retirement, income sources in retirement, investments in retirement, risk management issues in retirement, managing retirement distributions, and estate planning. And the lawyer that did the estate planning was just the bomb. He was hilarious, but he got to the point and helped us to understand what you need to think about in terms of preserving your assets and anything you want to do relative to assets and your beneficiaries or heirs. Upcoming workshops include the PERS workshops. You should have received a message from Nicole via email about the January PERS workshops on the 15th and the 30th. The Retirement Center is also planning on STIRS workshops covering elder care, nutrition, and fitness, navigating the Medicare landscape, volunteering, getting the most, again, out of your Social Security benefits, and they will be repeating shortly the Life Planning for Retirement workshop that we held a few months ago. So in closing, I want to thank you, all of you, who contribute in whatever way you can to the college's Human Resources program, particularly its retirement support program. Your ideas and involvement are essential to the success of your Human Resources program. And Dr. Kuhn, if you think 50 came fast, join those of us who are in the 60-plus club. So have a great, productive year and support our students.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, we're going to take a very brief break to allow for our speaker to get set up, and then we'll come up and do the introduction. Just to remind folks that there's 3 of these things going around for folks that need to sign in. Don't go anywhere, but feel free to stand up, stretch your legs, and we'll be right back with you.